So most kids these days, especially teens, spend a lot of time online. It seems like it's like all the time, and it can be fun for the kids, but it also comes with dangers. I think we know this by now. Joining us right now, Casey Bree Jensen. She's a parenting and teen coach, also a speaker. So good to have you here this morning.
Thank you for having me.
And how can parents make sure that our kids are not going into really dangerous places online? Because we worry about it, but we can't be with them all the time.
Right. I mean, the first thing we want to do is set up all the parameters. I think that sometimes we just give them the device. I always joke, but it's not totally funny. You know, take the Xbox, I need a break for 5 minutes, you know?
You do that.
Yeah, I mean, I do that. I'm guilty, but just making sure we set up those safeties. So every single gaming console, because they're talking to strangers online if we don't set up safeties through gaming communities. I don't know. I didn't know that initially. But through like Xbox Live, through even their iPad Clash of Clans and things like that, they're communicating with strangers unless we set up privacy settings. So go right into the game, right into the console, and before they can play it, go through the settings and you can set up the privacy settings.
How do we know who they're talking to?
Well, we should know who they're talking to. If they, with the privacy settings on gaming specifically, you can put in there who they're allowed to talk to. So friends and contacts that they have in their phones, in their devices.
Okay.
So that's a great way. If they aren't set up on your child's device, Xbox Live, for example, suggests who they should be talking to based on their level of gameplay, based on their level of interest. And we had this happen with my son where a stranger was contacting him, and it was an adult, and there was some inappropriate contact, not on my son's part at all, but with this stranger.
Wow.
And so that's one way we really need to make sure we just make it so it's just friends if they're allowed to talk online. I mean, the apps are the same way. Direct messaging and all that. Every single app we allow our child to be on has privacy settings. Some aren't as good as others. Snapchat is really difficult to monitor.
Right.
YouTube, believe it or not, has a privacy setting. So you go to the bottom, whether they have an account or not, you go to the bottom of every single one of your devices. You can log on under your own account. At the very bottom, it's hard to find, click that privacy so that they don't have every single video and person contacting them.
Right. So you and I were just sharing horror stories about how our kids were watching a video game video, and then it you know, kind of cycled through, and then eventually it was porn.
Yes, because it's played, again, suggested material. So we're kind of battling all these apps that want to advertise to their viewer, right? I mean, that's natural, but unfortunately they're advertising to our child. And so what happens is a child will be watching a YouTube video. It could be super innocent. It could be on their favorite TV show or their favorite game. They walk away, which they would, go eat, go do whatever. They come back and probably 5 or 6 videos have played based on the previous video. So they could end up watching something like porn or, you know, something else we don't want them to see.
Scared of that.
Yeah.
What would you say are the biggest dangers in the cyber world for our teens these days? Yeah,
the biggest dangers are, in my mind, overexposure. They're seeing a lot. They're seeing a lot of sexuality. Just, you know, I'm talking like the 10, 11, 12-year-olds. They're seeing a lot of that. They're seeing a lot of news, headlines, you know, things that are coming at them. I don't know if we're made as humans to be able to know what's going on everywhere, every minute, refresh, and our little 13-year-old is seeing the headline. I think strangers from all over the world, predators that are online, are able to contact our kids, and that's obviously very dangerous because that can translate into the real world. It's all the real world, but the real world, and it could become very harmful, not to mention social and emotional impact on our teenagers.
So it is really on us to figure out what's going on, where our kids are spending the time, and be sure that we're able to set up the safety settings.
Yes, and we can. So I don't want to I just get the information out, but there are ways to monitor. Just like I said, the privacy on every app, but also start on the child's device initially. Because if it's an Apple product, an Android product, you can go into your settings, start there, and you can set up what websites they can go to. You can set up the ratings on the apps. You can also set up, if you get alerts, a lot of times it's really great to have them under your iTunes account so you get an alert if an app is trying to be activated. And not in a way to police your child, but to keep them safe, because it is a huge world that they're being exposed to, and it's happening right on their device.
And it does feel overwhelming as a parent these days, because our kids are 3 steps ahead of us at all times. Yeah. All right, Casey Bree Jensen, thank you so much. And the website, letstalkteens.com. Right now, there's a promo code for 20% off a social media and cyber safety workshop. All you do is go to letstalkteens.com/workshops and then enter the promo code Q13Fox.